Hello everyone, welcome. My name is Brad Armstrong. I also have Frank Tappen here joining us.
Hello everybody.
The purpose for our session today is to walk you through our new software upgrade, WinSPC version 9, or V9. There's a lot of material in V9, and in some ways this almost feels like a new product. You should be seeing our website, and we're going to be toggling over to WinSPC and get into the software. From our perspective, V9 is a significant milestone of achievement, but it's also the beginning of a new era for the WinSPC community. This is a major release. It provides an entirely new platform of features, and we expect all of you are going to start using the system in new ways. It also has several technology updates. We're going to be building on those for years to come. I think you'll see as we go through this that these enhancements in V9 touch nearly every aspect of the software. This was really an effort to make the software more powerful and easier to use at the same time. By the way, this is a free upgrade for those of you that maintain your service contract with us. And the plan for today is to introduce you to the new features and also share some ideas on how you might use these tools. Let's jump in. So we're in WinSPC now. Immediately on the admin screen, you'll notice a modernized look with higher resolution icons. Also, all the windows throughout WinSPC are theme aware, so they'll conform to your Windows settings and take advantage of the new visual properties found in Windows 7 and 8 and Windows 10. You can now also adjust the icon sizing in the admin mode, and you have small, medium, and large size icons to choose from. Personally, I've kind of gravitated towards the larger displays when I'm on a tablet or a mobile device, but you might test them out and see how you like them. Keep in mind, everything you've used before is in the same location, and it should feel familiar as you start to move around in version 9. Oh, we've also standardized on right-click actions in the admin tree. There's a simple change here where you can now copy-paste directly from the right-click menu. You might recall this replaces the old technique of holding down the control key, left mouse, drag, drop, but that does still work if you need it. Continuing on with some of these visual updates, under the Tools menu, you'll find many new options under Chart Schemes. This helps manage all the properties of the charts in WinSPC, like the colors, the fonts, the backgrounds, the lines, labels, even the readings and their colors. There are many templates built in to work with in V9, or you can make your own templates, and you've got total control over these chart settings. This even includes the properties and shading of a new pie chart that's now available in version 9. Change the colors of the wedges here. As we get into other features today, you'll see how to use these templates to present your information on the chart in the format that works best for your scenario. For example, you might have some unique color schemes that are intended for printing out colored reports, others for summary views on the shop floor dashboards with larger font sizes, maybe other layouts for management dashboards that contain more detail on the chart. All right, also under the Tools menu, you'll find the status of the WinSPC App Server component. This is not new with version 9, but several of the new features utilize and depend on this App Server. I know some of you may not have this up and running yet, so we're going to refresh on this for a moment here. The App Server component was originally introduced last year primarily as a caching server. That means it was designed to help improve performance, mainly for our reporting and our analysis tools, which can be really useful for those of you that have lots of data. In V9, we've added more functionality to the App Server, and we're recommending all our customers should install this with their system. At some point, the App Server is going to be an integral part of the overall system, and we're planning to add more and more functionality to it with each incremental release as we move forward. Equally important, this App Server is a free component. There's no charge. But please call our tech support if you need any help getting this up and running. It's a quick install. It runs in the background on the server, and it kind of takes care of itself. All right, back on the screen, the display here shows if an app server is present on your network and if it's active with your system. Okay, also in System Settings is a new option here to link WinSPC users to Microsoft Active Directory. This will help the IT folks. WinSPC now permits integration of the user management with a local Active Directory domain. So you have unified account control, auto creation of users, and the benefits of single sign-on. Your Windows sign-on could get you right into WinSPC. One thing to point out, in order to link WinSPC to Active Directory, you do need the App Server component we mentioned before. That needs to be present and active. There's one other feature that requires the app server in version 9. Moving back to the main admin screen, you can see a new archive object has been added to the tree here. This is a brand new archive engine. There was an archive function in previous versions, but the new engine has a lot more power here. Archives can run automatically in the background on a schedule, and they can be configured on the fly by a WinSPC administrator. The user interface for archives is worth a bit of show and tell here. You now have more flexibility over which parts and which variables in the tree you're going to select for an archive, and you can set filters, like a date range. There's an option here even to delete the data from your live database to help maintain performance over time. You can also archive to other Microsoft SQL or Oracle databases. Instead of in older versions, you had to archive to another database format. The next tab is where you pre-configure archives to run on a set schedule. You can use daily, weekly, monthly, or yearly scheduling options here. Choose your preferences once, and this automatically runs in the background on the app server. So again, you do need that app server component to utilize the new archive engine. We're not showing it here, but these archives will contain all the parts and variables that you've archived into them over time. You can right-click on a part or variable once it's archived and be able to view reports, do analysis right from there. I just don't have one built in this setup. In fact, going further on that topic, a smart way to implement archives might be to set a rolling archive that runs maybe quarterly or every few months, and it only maintains a few months of recent data in the live production database, so it just continues to roll older data off the back end as you go. You could even create multiple archive volumes, organize them by groups like product types, or for certain customers that are not as active, or put them into calendar years and store all the data there. Next up, we'll get into updates to attributes. You'll find many new attribute analysis and reporting options in V9. This is similar to features previously available for variable data, such as the Analyzer view here, where you can interact with an expanded list of attribute charts. All the common charts are here, like P, NP, C, and U, and others. There's now an attribute data grid to view your raw data in a row-column workspace. There's also a new tab for a new Pareto mode to summarize your defects and interact different ways and sort. And this includes access to new pie charts as well. We've also built out many new attribute report templates. Some are similar to what you've seen before, and many are new for attribute type data. These are available for quick access in several locations throughout WinSPC. Here, for example, right from the toolbar, or if you right-click on a part or an attribute, you can run your attribute reports from there. You can now also export attribute data to Excel with a click right from the toolbar or from a right-click on an attribute, and just select Excel as your output. As a sidebar on this, both attributes and collection plan items can now be filtered through a data set. This will help you refine the items you want to view or report against. It used to be based primarily on parts and variables, so that's been expanded out. All right, well, admittedly, we've been holding back a bit for this last part. So in version 9, we developed a completely new platform for monitoring performance with these highly configurable summary views. We call them dashboards. These are all new visualizations that might include charts, stat panels, stat meters, violation lists, and other summary information all in a single layout. Out in production, you might have dashboards on big monitors or on tablets that could auto-refresh with color-coded alarms. They can be organized to show the status of all your quality data plant-wide, or for an operator in production, maybe it's just monitoring certain variables in their area across a few of their machines. Here's a simple example of that with several charts and alarms for a specific collection plan. This is about 18 charts. I've run layouts where you could fit 30 or 40 or more charts on a screen. They get a little small. You might have to adjust your chart scheme to fit those in there better. Keep in mind, that was one based on a single collection plan, but these dashboards could be built off multiple collection plans or multiple parts or variables from different operations in the plant. So you can group a lot of information together. It's a big step beyond the plant monitor tool you may have used before. Dashboards can also have automated events. We're going to take a look behind the scenes here and get into configuration of a dashboard for a moment. You can build these pretty quickly on the fly, by the way. We're going to show some neat functionality here for automated events. We've designed a few options so you could run a dashboard on a big monitor unattended. In this area, you can configure data-driven actions in a dashboard to monitor if certain conditions are met, like a set amount of data is captured during a period of time, or if you have excessive number of violations occurring. This even goes beyond your traditional SPC roles that you may already have in place through control tests in WinSPC. The data-driven actions will help monitor for events within the dashboard and the context of that data on screen. Then you can have the dashboard take action. It could automatically save a report that defines the event that it just picked up in the data on the dashboard. It could send out an email notification with a screenshot captured right there. It could drop the details of the event to a file that another system could pick up, like an MES or an ERP system, pick up the file, process it, and maybe produce other actions based on it. Some neat ways to utilize that, and we're exploring a lot of other applications there as well. Oh, one other scenario on that. Those actions we were working through, some neat use cases. You could send updates based on what's going on in the dashboard if there's no data being processed or if there's no data collected during a period of time. Maybe that indicates that checks were missed. Maybe a machine is down for some reason. A new type of notification you couldn't do before. All right, another use case for dashboards is more for the engineers and managers to get their plant-wide updates all on a single screen. Here's an example, or we're pulling up an example here with a combination of charts and stats in a single layout. You might start at a high level, and then your users could click and drill down to get a deeper dive into the process. With a click, it could take you to another dashboard, a completely different configuration. It could launch a report, or get to the variable analyzer tool, like we're showing here, that has additional filtering and a review of the data available. There are some neat zoom and sorting options from here. If you've used variable analyzer, you're probably familiar with some of this. This is a resort based on a tag, like lot number or shift or machine, to see your data grouped by those tag elements. Frank's also going to go through a scenario where he clicks on the chart to filter data and then views the filtered results in other charts on this area, on this screen, to explore the situation further. A pie or a Pareto, you could drill down, pick the lot or the item that's most important to you, and then view it also in a control chart on the other tab. These are all new interactions in version 9 that you couldn't do before, really expanding out the way to drill into an issue and investigate it further. All these dashboards can be based on data filters, like just show today's data on the dashboard, or by shift or by other tags. And like this screen, you can split it into multiple frames to show different context. Like this one has 3 frames. You could even have different data filters and charts and options within each frame itself. You may have noticed as we go through this today, we've been accessing dashboards from a right-click on a part, using the View As, or from a collection plan, or from a variable. You could have a dashboard specific to a variable with multiple charts, like a 6-pack. Or you can launch dashboards from a predefined data set. And if you've explored data sets in WinSPC, there's many different templates there, many different ways to crunch data and find events. This is a handy way to have the system search to determine what variables it's supposed to show in the dashboard. The search in the data set could find variables with significant stat changes, or maybe those that have cost factors increasing using our cost analysis tools and calculations. Here's an example that shows a profile of multiple variables where their CPK has dropped to a certain level this month. You can see some color coding in the meters, a lot of neat definition and properties available to that as well. So there's a lot of power in combining a data set with a dashboard. The data set finds what it should show, and the dashboard can help summarize it and allow you to interact to learn more. I think over time, you might have even more users in your company using these dashboards to monitor their process and interact with data. From there, they can click, drill down, generate reports, or jump into deeper analysis modes from there. Keep in mind, this is really just the first release of dashboards in 9.0. We've got a lot more planned for dashboards and upcoming releases as we move forward. You may have heard some of the talk in the industry about big data solutions, and these dashboards give you a neat transformational tool to view all that data, plus the new archive engine on the back end helps care of managing that data for you. All right, a few final items to wrap this up. First, version 9 is newly certified on recent Windows operating systems like Windows 8. It's also tested on and certified on more recent Microsoft SQL and Oracle database platforms. Hope keep up to speed with new operating systems and databases out there. Second, there's a new report designer training guide that's been rolled into version 9. This can help you build your own reports using our report designer tool. One last item, also available in the documentation section in WinSPC from the help are the What's New and README docs for a comprehensive description of all these features with screenshots and helpful tips on how to use the new tools. Okay, we're going back to our website now. I'm in the What's New section, and we're getting to the What's New section. This is a summary of all the topics that we've been covering today. But that's all we had planned for the software portion. We do have some time open here for Q&A at the end. I know a few questions were posted if you'd like to stay on with us. Or in the GoToWebinar panel, there's a question area. Feel free to post your question if you'd like to learn more. Or just send us an email afterwards to myself or Frank or right from our website into the info. We welcome your feedback and really like to hear from you on these items. All right, I got a couple questions real quick if you want to stay on. First one, thought this might come up. How long will it take to run an archive in version 9? It's a good question. The new archive engine is designed to handle higher volumes of data, and we've been testing it against large databases internally. Obviously, there's a few factors that can influence this beyond the software, but our tests are showing major performance improvements. What used to take hours now takes a few minutes. It's quick. It's working really well. Frank, do you see another question? Yeah, for filtering. Okay, are there any other filtering options with dashboards? Yep. So you can run dashboards off data sets like I mentioned in the session here today. That might be one level of filtering. Or within the dashboard directly, we didn't get into this today, but there's a property where you can set a specific data filter, again by date range, by a tag, or other filters. So you could show, maybe just today's data this week, or by operator, or by shift, or by lot number or batch. All that can be narrowed down and sorted and grouped in the charts on the dashboard. Got another question? I've actually had this one a couple times. Has the operator data collection screen changed in the new version? No, the layout and the data collection screen have remained unchanged. There's no new items there. There are a few icons in the toolbar that have been updated, but they look familiar. They should be able to identify them. You also have an option of introducing a dashboard as an alternative view for the shop floor, in addition to the data collection screen. Oh yeah, another question. Were there updates to devices, in particular to interface with XLSX files? That's the newer Excel document format. Yes, WinSPC now supports pulling data from XLSX file formats. It also handles the merged cells better, if you've worked with that before. One other way you can use that, if you have CSV files you want to parse, you could use an Excel-type device to do it and use that configuration screen that might work better for your CSV file layout. The Excel-type devices use kind of a row-column selection, and with the CSV files, that's an easy way to quickly go through and mask your values. Or you can use the traditional text CSV interface for those devices in WinSPC. Will WinSPC version 9 be faster while we enter data in a collection plan? We'd like to hear from you if you're experiencing something that you don't expect there. Feel free to reach out to our tech support. Most of our customers are reporting good performance on that. Version 9 didn't change a lot in data collection. However, the app server and the archive could help with it. For example, you could archive more frequently if you're seeing performance degradation in data collection. We're always looking at performance improvements and future releases. We're moving faster and faster. Another question, what will happen to the data collected from version 8.3? Will it transfer into version 9? Yes, There's an upgrade path from 8.3 and even previous versions of WinSPC. If you have an older version, you might call our support. They can guide you through that process. But it'll move everything over that you've already collected and configured in previous versions and make it available in the new version 9. In fact, even if you're using the old archive and older releases, it'll move and transfer those archives over into the new archive volumes and make them accessible to you. Great questions. Thank you, everyone. Appreciate the input. We'll stay on for another couple minutes if you have any other questions you want to ask. We have another question about reports. Are we able to now have a ppm report? That's a parts per million metric that you might want to track. I have seen reports like that. We'd probably want to work through your setups in WinSPC to make sure we can get to the right data that you would need, but that's just a calculated field in the report. I'd expect we'd be able to generate that type output, but we'd want to work through your scenario to make sure they're the way you expect it to. All these new attribute updates do allow some more manipulation there. Here's one about, have any early adopters of V9 found any issues that are slated for fixes in upcoming patches? We've really received good feedback so far. There was a couple minor items, and I'm sure we'll have a maintenance release at some point, but so far it's performing well in the field. Another question here, has a training program been put together for reports and data sets yet, similar to the WinSPC training you do on site? That's in process right now. We'll start doing the full WinSPC admin class on version 9. There's also going to be version 9 report designer training available too. There is the new report designer training guide that you can utilize right away. That's already available. You can get to that from within WinSPC in the report designer section or from our website in the software download page with the link where you have the V9 download. Will we be able to use PDFs instead of JPEG files in the drawing navigation setup? I think that refers to blueprint mode. Unfortunately, PDFs don't transfer well into this image layout, and we have to use some type of native image file format in order to display those using blueprint mode. You can convert PDFs over. I realize that's a few steps, but that might be one option if you haven't looked at that yet. We had a question about a report. Can they have a six-pack report? Actually, there is a report in WinSPC now. It's called Variable Detail. It has 6 sections, similar to a six-pack report. Usually that includes capability information like CPK stats, a control chart, a histogram, a summary of violations. Ours also has a Pareto, and you could tweak the items that are in that report if you want to add or remove charts or stats. You could also put that same framework together in a dashboard for a variable or group of variables, so you could see multiple charts, stats, and updates across one or more items. Please reach out to us if you need any help building that type of dashboard. That won't be hard. These dashboards that we showed you today, there's about 20 of the factory-built templates built in, or you can modify those, or you can build a dashboard from scratch in a few seconds. The chart matrix dashboard we showed that had the 18 charts and color coding, literally it can be done in a few seconds. Drag and drop a few items on there, turn on your actions and alarms, and it's ready to go. You can use it across all your users at that point. I'll stay on for another minute if there's any other questions. Really appreciate all the input, all the comments, and questions. Keep an eye out for more announcements here as we move forward. Oh, another quick question. Might not be related to version 9, but can we use WinSPC on an iPad? We get this question a lot. iPads are great. I use one at home all the time. There are ways that we can install WinSPC to run on an iPad. If you've worked with it before, there's a tool called Terminal Services or Citrix that allow you to run sessions on a server that you could connect to and view from an iPad or an Android or other mobile devices and tablets. There's a difference there. It's just running a remote session, but to the user, it's going to look the same way as if they logged into a standard Windows computer and launched WinSPC. It'll be the same experience. We're also seeing a lot of popularity with the new Surface Pro out in manufacturing. Has a touch screen, optional keyboard, and it runs all your standard Windows applications natively. So you could run a standard WinSPC client, have it wireless. You can even collect data with it from Gauges, other devices, because you have all the native Windows drivers built in to handle it. And they're coming down in price. They're very reasonable compared to other tablets out there. Any other questions? I think that's it for today. We're going to wrap this up. I appreciate everyone's time. Thank you for joining us. Glad to see you here.